Questions for LeBron? First one right here on the right side.
LeBron, I'm just curious over here on the right. When you found out Kevin wasn't playing and that you were going to basically be defending Draymond last night, what approach and what did you set out to do mostly against him?
Well, it's a different mindset when you know you're starting off on the perimeter compared to when you're starting off on the big. You have to change your mind frame. You have to change, mentally, actually thinking as a big. And that was my mindset when I knew Kev wasn't playing, and Coach said I was starting on Draymond. I had to, transition myself into being a big and guarding a big and getting into the scuffle and things of that nature. So, it's just a different approach, which, I'm fine by making that transition.
Even though you say approach it as a big, he initiates so much of their offense from well above the three-point arc. It looked like you made it a priority to get way up on him, even way above the arc. How do you think that affected their offense or helped you guys from an aggressive standpoint defensively?
Well, I think not only myself, but everyone. Everyone was extending their defense a little bit more. They're such a great three-point shooting team that you have to extend your defense to start off with. More than that, they move the ball so well. And Draymond being one of those guys, one of their playmakers, along with Steph, along with Livingston, along with Iguodala, that makes so many great passes above that, well beyond the three-point line. So you got to do a good job of trying to help the back line defense by putting a little ball pressure on them.
Robert on the right.
Robert Littell, Black Sports Online. Last night, LeBron, you talked about how a lot of the things that Richard Jefferson does doesn't show up in the stat sheet. Can you just elaborate on what those intangibles are and what you're seeing out on the court that kind of helped you guys with your rhythm and play last night?
Well, he's a professional. He's a true professional. He's a guy who sees an opportunity in the moment to be in his position. Last time he was in the finals was his first and second year in the league, and I think he's not taking this moment for granted and just going out and giving everything that he has. He knows his role. He plays it very well, and it's key to our team.
Joe, left center.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. LeBron, I'd like to follow up on Draymond before I ask my own question. You're always such a game plan guy. You'll do whatever it is that Ty lays out. But when you have a night like last, matching up with Draymond, and it worked out as well as it did for you and for the club, would that be a situation where you would go to Ty and say, leave this matchup alone?
Well, myself and Coach Lou, we talk a lot about game plan, and at the end of the day, he has the last say so. And then it's for me to go relay it to the rest of the group and get those guys to buy in on what needs to be done to help us win. So we have a lot of conversations throughout the whole year on what should we do and how we can be better as a ball club. And he will give his last decision, and then it's for me to go to take it to the team and make sure they're prepared.
And then the other one that I had was prior to last night, the Warriors had beat you guys 7 in a row. Did that at any point start to build up kind of a mental block for your team? And when you win one, when you snap a streak like that, what can it do from a confidence level going against a team like the Warriors?
I don't think anyone actually knew the number or how many consecutive times they had beat us. We just knew they had beat us in Game 1 and Game 2. And they beat us pretty well on their home floor. And we wanted to just come out with a better effort, sustain a better effort, close to 48 minutes as possible, and live with the results. But I don't think anyone in our locker room actually knew how many times they had beat us in a row.
Jeff.
Jeff Zogett, USA Today. LeBron, what have you learned about this team, the makeup of the locker room, that lets you know that you might be able to handle any changes that potentially come to the lineup if Kevin is able to play on Friday night?
Well, in the last 2 years, we've had some extreme situations happen to us, both with two of our All-Stars being out because of injury. The start of this season, obviously with Shump being out and also Kyrie being out for a long, extended period of time. So guys have been able to just, next man up. That's always been our motto. For someone that's out and can't perform or can't play at that point in time, then it's next man up. And our coaching staff do a great job of keeping everybody engaged, keeping everybody afloat, understanding that, hey, you never know what may happen, so always be ready. So that allows our team to be able to make the adjustment on the fly if need be.
Tim on the right.
Tim Reynolds, Associated Press. Bron, how important is it for the collective when Steph is around the lane or, cutting under the basket, making a baseline cut, just within the letter of the law, of course, make sure that he feels you guys in some way. How much has that been a point of emphasis for you guys? Because it seemed like last night is even more so than 1 and 2.
Well, I think, and that's for all their guys, not just Steph. They do a great job of moving, the ball moving, and when you allow those guys to move with freedom of space, they're very dangerous. They're already dangerous enough. So when you allow them to run around and and not feel any pressure or any physicality or anything, they're able to just be even more comfortable. They're already a great team, and you just want to try to take something away from it. Because of how well they move the ball, and how well they share the ball, and how great of a three-point shooters that Steph and Clay are, and the rest of those guys feed off of them.
And you talked before 3, for obvious reasons, about do or die. Now that it's 2-1 and you won a game by 30 or whatever it was last night, how do you keep that same edge?
It's the same mindset. We can't afford to go down 3-1 and go to their building, give them confidence going back. So it's a do or die game for us still.
Dave, front left.
Dave McMenamin, ESPN. LeBron, Tehran shared a story with us that both you and Kyrie went up to Kevin before the game last night and said, we got to win this one for you. What has it been like noticing the frustration he's dealing with the protocol, and also what can you do to support him throughout this process?
Well, I just seen on his face, yesterday when we were all in the locker room, and it was that I hate that I'm going through this moment. I feel like I'm letting you guys down moment without him even actually saying it. So before we left the locker room, I know Kai embraced him. I did as well, and told him, don't worry about it. We got him tonight. This is what a team is all about, for them to pick their brother up in a time of need, and him not to put too much pressure on himself or the team, and we're gonna try to take care of business, which we was able to do. So I know it was uplifting to him for sure, and it was for our team as well.
Gary, Lowell, Steve, last 3.
Ron, Gary Wash from Boston Globe. You said a couple days ago you really didn't know what playing possessed meant, but I think like Game 6, 2012, Eastern Conference Finals, when you Heat against the Celtics, I think with 45 and 16, and you were just kind of looked like you were in a different state of mind that night. Was there any comparison between that night, if you can look back, and last night, or even how you'll approach tomorrow?
I think, for me, it's just, I just play my game. I love to play the game, and obviously being down 3-2 in Boston at that point in time, it was do or die. I mean, it was year 2 for us, and we had already lost the previous year, and we had so many high hopes of that year, and being down 3-2 going into Boston, it was a tough situation for us. So, just try to go out there and play the game that I love to play, trust the work I've put into it, and lay the chips fall where they may. And I did the same thing last night.
Were you in a different state of mind that night 4 years ago that you've been since, or was that just a great game?
No, I wasn't in a different state of mind. I was focused like I always am. I was focused on with the job at hand. I played the game with a lot of joy and a lot of fun, and a camera can always catch you doing anything, and they can always put a caption on it all the time. So, that's one of the pictures that came out. Kind of saw me bent over and just looking at one of my teammates shoot free throws, and they said, well, he looked like a man possessed, and I don't even remember what